KaieteurNewsOnline.com or the MyTuner app, Radio Garden app, and you can also join us on Facebook at Kaieteur Radio. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Good morning. Welcome to your morning newscast for today, Sunday, August 14th, 2022. My name is Joshua Van Slykeman. Let's get to the news in details. The Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, has provided Guyana with another loan, this time to the tune of $1 million to improve the nation's procurement framework as well as to strengthen the abilities of those professionals managing the purchase of goods and services. The bank said that the objectives of this loan are critical since the country needs to do all it can to ensure spending of oil revenues in the years to come is done in an efficient manner. The bank warned that at the moment, the current systems are insufficient to achieve this goal. Chemtech International, a major U.S. manufacturing firm from a broad spectrum of markets since 1984, is poised to set up a massive $200 million oil refinery and integrated post-manufacturing complex in Guyana following approval from the EPA. The project is expected to allow for a port of shipbuilding as well as a special facility for wood processing. According to the company, it already has a letter from the Guyana Office for Investment, GoInvest, to establish the complex, which will be located at Plantation, York, East Bank, Demerara. Financing is expected from the United Securities Trust of Switzerland. In a release it issued on Saturday, Mohammed's Enterprise, an establishment situated on Lombard Street, Georgetown, confirmed one of the suspects in the March 2021 murder of Ricardo Fagundes, also known as Paper Shorts, is employed, but that person is not its chief security officer, as was reported in the media. A representative of the company said that the individual identified as Mark Richmond, also known as Shopman, is a security officer with Mohammed's Enterprise. Shopman is accused of threatening a detective, Police Sergeant Dion Bascom, and other ranks after they had gone to arrest him on the 3 occasions for Fagundes' murder, which occurred outside Palm Court, a Main Street Georgetown nightclub. Bascom even went a step further to implicate a businessman, Azzuddin Mohammed, who is linked to Mohammed's Enterprise in the murder investigation by claiming phone records show that the suspect was in contact with him at the time of the killing. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. I beg your pardon, the story continues to say although the company confirmed that Shopman is an employee, it has moved to distance itself from claims made by Bascom that it could be associated with the murder of Fagundes and stated that it is willing to assist police with any investigation if necessary. Shopman Mohammed and a senior cop, Superintendent Michelle Caesar, have slapped Bascom with defamation lawsuits after he publicly accused them of conspiring together to cover up the probe. The full details can be found in today's Kaieteur newspaper. In a case of the hunter becoming the hunted, when it comes to former EPA CEO Dr. Vincent Adams and other citizens are now being pillared by the Guyana government for insisting that ExxonMobil provide full liability coverage to this country in the event of a disaster at its Stabroek Block operation. Dr. Adams has been on the raft almost with the administration and the U.S. oil major over this issue. He has described steps his and other state agencies, such as the former Department of Energy, were taking at the time in placing Guyana on a better environmental path within the oil sector. Meanwhile, Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal said he is saddened to see the treatment being meted out to Dr. Adams by government officials in their efforts to protect ExxonMobil. Mr. Lal then alluded to Dr. Adams' efforts, noting that the former head of the EPA, who knows the right thing and was fighting for the right thing, was fired by Jack Dio back in 2020 November. Senior executives retained Kaieteur have found themselves in hot water after a more than 300 million fuel racket at the company, which has been ongoing for several years now, was blown wide open by a whistleblower, and several of its senior personnel as well as GDF staffers are reportedly involved. It is understood that the company's internal audit department is probing the issue, and a Guyana police force has also been called in. According to information, fuel which is designated for the military institution is being stolen and sold to private persons, with the company executives and GDF staff splitting and pocketing the cash. And finally, at this time, new transparency demands from global financial institutions aimed at preventing sovereign debt distress are starting to have an impact on China-backed infrastructure projects under the Belt and Road Initiative, expert says. As global interest rates rise and concern about developing world debt risk swirls, sustainability and transparency have become buzzwords at organizations like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. The international bodies, which have traditionally been controlled by the United States and other wealthy group of 7 nations, are pushing for greater disclosure from borrowers, including on debt contract with China, former senior staff and analysis said. The tighter lending standards, like the IMF's new debt limited policy that came into effect in June last year, are being fueled by concerns about a potential debt crisis in low-income nations, which has become more pressuring following the economic shock of the COVID-19 pandemic. You're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your main newscast. We turn our attention to the page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated of being blunt. And of course, the blunt is titled IDB Report Part 2. We continue with the recommendation made by the IDB to Guyana for equipping itself to better manage its oil wealth. One of the recommendations called for operationalizing the robust cost accounting rules and protocols that watch our backs where oil company expenses are concerned, and give us a greater chance of getting justice from our oil riches. Any rules, policies, procedures and protocol that this country has to do us no good by gathering mold, moths, and mildew on some shelf in some offices. And this is what the IDB emphasizes. Whatever exists may be enhanced, must be enhanced, and then operationalized. The IDB lent us money to make such operational possible. Put systems, rules, and people to work. Let them loose to sniff out expense tricks dumped on us by Exxon and others. Let our system rules and people dig deep, push hard, and get to the bottom of a $1 billion bill submitted by Exxon. When we don't do so, we are all party to the oil companies tricking us and cheating us. What has the PPPC government and leaders done regarding the recommended operating of the rules and protocol? Next to nothing. This is how the highway robberies continues and how we allow it. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast for today, Sunday, August 14th, 2022. For these stories and much more, pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you for just 150 Guyana dollars, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. Do continue to follow us on Facebook at Kaieteur Radio, on Instagram at Kaieteur_radio, and on TikTok at Kaieteur Radio for these and other contents. My name is Joshua Van Slyckman. Thank you for joining us. Have a great remainder of your Sunday morning.